Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I had a special request yesterday. Someone asked that we have an open discussion for a bit, and I'm open to that. I usually try to give some time at the end of each show for, Q&A and stuff, but of course the chat gets going and it's too hard to see all of the people's requests and everything. So I figure we should probably do something like that at the beginning of today's show. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to pretty much open this up for a open discussion, whatever you guys want to talk about. And also, of course, if you have any requests on things that you want me to decode, a lot of times I've already decoded most of the stuff that people ask about, but I understand how YouTube works. It's very difficult to search things on a channel anymore. Google and YouTube just really is lame right now when it comes to, searching up topics. With all this AI learning, you would think that these people would have this thing dialed in. And I think they did for a long time. And then they realized people could research stuff way too easily and call them out on their hypocrisy and lies. And so now what they do is they just give us pretty much nothing when we search something. And I know you all are feeling that. I think at first you started feeling it through mobile apps and things like that. The mobile app searches were different. You'd get different results than you would on like a laptop or a tablet. So if you're just tuning in, it's kind of an open discussion for the first part of today. Then we're going to get into the new variant called Arcturus. And we're going to look at the biblical significance of Arcturus. And I found some pretty crazy stuff. Once again, Arcturus related into Artemis and of course Apollo, the bringer of disease and the bringer of cure. Why would they name, a variant after that? And then of course, there's all kinds of other connections that we'll get into about Arcturus. I found a company that does mRNA technology called Arcturus, like really, that's working on a vaccine. So we'll get into all that a little bit later in the show, but for now, I'm just going to open this up for whatever you guys want to talk about. There's a couple hundred of you here, so should be pretty manageable in terms of, at least taking some notes on your requests or things you want to talk about, whatever the case may be. Good morning, everybody. Tanya, ears to hear, eyes to see, surrender to Christ. Yahusha, Lilith of Eden, good morning. Decode the consultant. Okay, I do have that in my, let me write it down. The consultant. I have it up here in my tabs. The consultant. So I'll take some notes here and I'll try to double down on some of this stuff because you guys are usually right. Like when you tell me to decode something, you're usually right. Either it's already been decoded or it's Good morning, Pepperami, Valerie, Skywatcher, Dennis, Natalie, Dale, Lisa, Benjamin, Tamara. Good morning, Jill. Good morning, everybody. Fire still burning in Indiana. Oh, there's a fire. Picard Season 3. I think we did that one already, but let me check. I'll write that down. Yeah, we started a little bit early. Okay, Ike went fishing and did not catch anything. Didn't catch many fish yesterday. It's too bad. Yeah, I've been so busy. In fact, today after the show, I've got to go pick up some flashing from the steel company. Then I'm going to be helping my contractor paint to save a little bit of money. So that's what's going on today. Paint day today. Decode the other Trump Elvis twin. The Other? Is it a show called The Other? Let's see here. Fire in New Jersey. Fire in New Jersey. That'll probably be a headlines topic between the headlines. Enemy of the State. Yes, we did decode Enemy of the State. It should be searchable on the channel, I hope. Trying to get better about putting the title of the movie inside the, in the title of the actual decodes, so you guys can find them. But we did do Enemy of the State. Many of you guys remember that decode. It was about Blind 11, actually, in that movie. Before Blind 11 happened, there was a syringe in the neck. And in fact, I believe that the syringe in the neck is the thumbnail of that video, if you're looking for it. So there is a way that you can search on the channel. You come to the channel, but it only works for some reason on tablets or laptops. If you're on a mobile device, going through the app, there's no search magnifying glass on the mobile apps, which is just weird to me. Like, why would YouTube do that? Well, they're trying to push everybody off of laptops and bigger devices. They all want you on mobile phones. And there's probably a reason for that, because your mobile phone never leaves your side, does it? And this is probably going to be the catalyst through which they send it through whatever signals or whatever they want to try to control the poked zombies with. It's probably going to come through your cell phone. So they're disincentivizing people to be on larger platforms like laptops, tablets, or the old stack tower, computers, because this is what's going on. So yeah, they need to fix that. They need to put a search bar on the channel on a mobile app. Sounds simple, right? Should be. And then you can just search the channel. Now, you can very easily do that on a laptop. When I go in the browser and look up, go on a YouTube channel, there's a magnifying glass all the way to the right. And you just type in whatever you want to look for, and it pulls up all their videos on a certain topic or name. Yeah, I'm not a big phone fan, and it's weird as we get older. I can't see the phone very well. I have pretty good vision, but I have to have it like lit. It has to have a lot of light behind something for me to be able to see it. And so my vision isn't as sharp as it used to be. I don't wear glasses. I just refuse to. I feel like your muscles of your eyes need to be exercised. I guess if it got really bad, then I would probably have to wear glasses, but my son, he has the opposite. He has where he can't see far away. And I was like, man, that's sad. Like, imagine a world where you couldn't see further than 10 feet past your face. Like, I look out my window and I see all this beauty for miles and miles. But I think it all has to do with us staring at these screens all the time, right? So when I have something really close up to my face, like, within 6 inches, or usually about 6 inches to a foot is about as far as I can see, then I can't, it's a little bit blurry. It's not like bad blurry, but it's just a little bit blurry. I don't know what they call that. Nearsighted, farsighted, I don't know. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, it's open discussion today, taking special requests. Yes, we're going to talk about Arcturus as soon as we get done with this little Q&A session that one of you requested. It's funny because I think the person who asked me to do this is not here, so they're going to miss out on this time that we have. Yeah, Benjamin says, never needed him 40 years. Yeah, like, something tells me as soon as you start putting glasses on from an early age, I think it degrades your vision over time. I think if you try to tough it out, then maybe it can fix itself. I don't know. The same applies to teeth, I think. I think as soon as you start drilling into teeth and filling cavities that you think are there, I've had actual cavities recalcify. Well, I've never really had cavities, but when I look in my mouth, if I see something starting to form, I just like brush my teeth more, and then like within a week, that little dip is gone. It like recalcified or something. I don't know how to explain it, but never had a cavity, never had a filling, and I don't know why that is, but I just don't go to the dentist. I had a dentist one time in Connecticut tell me, I said, look, I don't have any cavities. He goes, you got gum disease. I was like, I don't have gum disease. If I had gum disease, all my teeth would be falling out and I would have cavities. They just try to scare you into going in there. They just try to scare you. I was in there for another reason with somebody else. I wasn't there for myself, but wow, right? So what else? Wow, Tonette's never had a cavity either. Wow, there's something different, isn't there? I've always, back in the day, like you'd see these like really old people, and they would tell you that every single day of their life, they had a shot of whiskey. And I was like, those are like little secrets that I'm not encouraging people to go out and get drunk on whiskey every night. I'm saying there's something about the one shot of alcohol or whiskey or wine or whatever it is in moderation that has helped some people live a very, very long time, into their hundreds. There was a centenarian who was saying she had a shot of whiskey every night before bed or something. And people think that that's probably because it reduced her stress levels and she was able to sleep better or something like that. So I don't know. Demolition Man decode. Yeah, we did that one as well. Let me write it down. What I might do is find all these and put links in the pinned comment. So I'll find them on my channel so you don't have to do the work. Maybe I'll do that. But it'll be later today because as soon as the show's over, I got to run. You know, if people tell you you have to brush your teeth every single day or brush your teeth 3 times a day or after every meal. Well, no. I brush my teeth once a day, usually in the morning. And sometimes I'll skip a day. Don't tell anybody. Well, I guess everybody knows now. But, and I don't know if that would work for everybody. But let's see. Valerie asked, what did Valerie ask? Were the Egyptians giants? Absolutely, they were giants. And that's an interesting discussion because very few people will acknowledge that. But there's several clues that the Egyptians were giants. First of all, their hieroglyphics. If you look into their hieroglyphics, you can see the Egyptian pharaohs depicted as twice, almost 3 times the size of the people that they ruled over in their own hieroglyphics. Now, archaeologists will tell you, oh, that's just because they were gods, and so they drew themselves bigger in the hieroglyphics. Well, why is everything else then in proper perspective? Animals and all these other things in whatever scene that's depicted. There's also a channel, I can't remember his name, but he goes all throughout Egypt and looks at these ancient artifacts. Really good channel. I don't agree with his religious philosophy, but good at going to all these places and documenting this stuff. And he found these massive sarcophaguses. They were massive and several inches thick, carved out of solid stone, down underneath the ground. And I think we covered this on a video. And they were in rows, so you like would walk along. It almost looked like a mortuary, solid stone. Yes, that guy, Richard. It's Brian Forster. That's the guy. Really good archaeological channel. I'm really interested in this kind of stuff because even when he doesn't realize he's covering something significant in terms of spiritual significance, I'll go and find it, you know, on his channel. And one of those things that he talks about are the annihilation of some of these ancient monuments and megalithic structures as if some kind of disaster happened to displace some of these massive pieces of architecture. Uh-oh, we're getting some buffering. Oh boy, here we go. Don't know why this happens. Happens sometimes. Let's see if we can figure this out. I don't know why we're buffering, but we shouldn't be. Oh boy. So anyway, let's keep going with this. Oh boy. Yeah, something going on with the internet. Not sure what, but we'll just keep going here. And so, yeah, Brian Forster, really good channel. And here's what I think was happening with that, with what he was depicting in some of this stuff. And I believe that this annihilation of some of these massive structures was biblical. In fact, in the there's an ancient writing called the Copperheads, and they actually talk about the Ark of the Covenant going through Egypt and laying waste to all the monuments. And this is where you got to look at a lot of this stuff and try to piece together history, because it says right there in the Copperheads that the son of Solomon, which was Menelik, stole the Ark of the Covenant from Solomon after visiting him for the first time. and actually laid waste to these monuments in Egypt. And so this stuff is real. So these are little clues that I like to look for when digging into some of this stuff. So, yeah, internet is whack today, cutting out before the show. Yeah, there's something going on with the internet. I think it's fixed, though, on my end at least. It's probably going on YouTube or whatever, but we'll keep trying to power through this. It's going green and then it goes red on my end when I'm looking at my my OBS. I wonder if a lot of people are experiencing this. I don't know, but it's just the way it is. Anyway, we're going to get into some other stuff, you guys. We'll get into some other things. We can continue this discussion a little bit later, but those were good questions. I really appreciate it. Now, next we're going to spend some time on this new variant called Arcturus. Now, this is crazy, you guys, because there's some biblical significance to Arcturus. Arcturus is, of course, the bear star. Uh-oh, more buffering. Arcturus is the bear star. But there's much more to the mythology behind Arcturus. This variant actually comes with a new side effect. The new side effect that they're saying is the eyes. The eyes are attacked. So first we had the lungs, then we had the heart, and now the eyes. Kind of reminds me of that Jason Ritter movie that we saw called Perfect Sense. That was all about a virus that attacks the senses. Right? Now, Arcturus is one of the few stars mentioned in Job. Job 9:9. Now, what this reminds me of, and this is the first time that Arcturus is mentioned in the Bible, is the 99 red balloons, right? 9:9. God is telling Job that he created these stars and constellations. Arcturus is then mentioned again in the book of Job in chapter 38, as God challenges Job about the origins of the creation of the earth. The scripture actually mentions the sons of Arcturus, which are the stars of the tail of the bear. As you can see here, the mention of the attendant stars in the second passage of Job agrees with the ascription among the Arabs of the daughters of Nish, the corresponding Arabic constellation, these being the 3 stars in the tail of the bear. So, the naming of this variant, after a discussion that God had with Job, has significance, doesn't it? Because Job is widely considered to be the man in the Bible who suffered the most behind Jesus. Wow. Now, let's keep going with this. Yes, the Mazzaroth. Now, Daryl, the Mazzaroth is actually considered to be the 88 constellations by most, by many. It's the entirety of all the constellations, as that's how that translates in the book of Job. Some people think differently about that, but that is the common consensus, and I'm not sure if that's the case or not. But let's continue on with this Arcturus thing. Are you ready for this? Arcturus Therapeutics. Literally. And look at this. Look at the logo. It's basically the serpent in the chest going through the A. Now, what is Arcturus Therapeutics? This could be what's causing our problems here with the feed. Maybe this video here. Sometimes they rig these sites to mess with your streaming. so that you can't stream these sites because they don't want this stuff out there. Well, let's keep going with this. Arcturus Therapeutics is a global late-stage clinical messenger RNA medicines and smack the nations company founded or focused on the discovery and development and commercialization of therapeutics for rare diseases and smack scenes. Proprietary technologies, validating partnerships, and an experienced team with deep expertise in delivery and RNA-based therapeutics. So there you go. So they literally named a variant after this. Now, the trail does not go cold there. I hope you're sitting down for this one. In 2018, here's their Wikipedia page. They merged with a Cobra, Alcobra Limited, an Israeli company. Are you serious? And they work off of a platform named Lunar, like the moon, the Artemis moon, and they're working right now on a Vidco 19 Smack the Nation. Here's Arcturus and Lunar, their platform, and they are currently working on a Vidco 19 Smack the Nation using star technology. And of course, Arcturus is a star. Arcturus is the bear star. And it's also known as an orange star. The orange star. Now, orange stars are stars that are at the end of their life. And this particular star, Arcturus, sits 19 degrees north of the celestial equator. It's one of the only stars visible from the entire northern and southern hemispheres. And it is the brightest star in the Boots constellation. Now, Boots is often depicted carrying a sickle, sometimes a spear and sometimes a staff, and there's your serpent in the chest. Now, the mythology behind Arcturus is stunning, and it really paints a picture of what's going on here. Remember Artemis, Trump's space program? Well, Artemis was impersonated by Zeus to trick her nymph, Callisto, into sleeping with him. Let's look that up. Now it goes deeper. Let's find this. Callisto was a nymph in the retinue of goddess Artemis, or in some sources, daughter of King Lycaon. As she would not be with anyone but Artemis, Zeus cunningly disguised himself as Artemis and slept with Callisto. The child resulting from their union was called Arcus, from which the star Arcturus came from. But listen to what happens next. Arcturus is born and is turned into a bear by Hera, of course out of jealousy. Hera was Zeus's wife. Then he was kidnapped by Lycaon, who tried to burn him at the altar as like a sacrifice. But Zeus saved Arcturus and turned Lycaon into a werewolf. Now, why are we getting into the mythology of all this? Well, it's important because this is what the controllers use to execute their agendas. They rely heavily on this mythology. It's not that I believe this mythology. This is what they're doing. So we're studying their moves and why they name things after what they do. So we have werewolves. We have Artemis. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Literally everything that we've been talking about and all this stuff happening in the media, the Artemis program, this whole rabid werewolf scenario, the full moon. Now, Arcturus then went on to kill his own mother by accident with an arrow. A serpent in the chest, the spear in the chest. This is the twin spirits. Now, all this is happening right now. Werewolves, rabid dogs, Artemis space program, and arrow possession, the tip of the spear. If you didn't know yet, the arrows and spears are the needles. Those are the needles that are poking everybody. Now, whatever they're doing with these variants and cures, I believe is unleashing the beast inside of us. And what else is clear to me now is that they're naming these variants after stars. Did you know that Omicron was also a star? Yes, it is. Now, all of this goes full circle back to Apollo, which it usually always does. Arcturus' daughter, named Chione, as you can see spelled here, or Chione, mothered 3 priests of Apollo. So always remember, Artemis and Apollo are the twin spirits, the Gemini. They were twins. And that represents the possession. So they're now naming variants to reveal the secrets of this possession, which is the disease and then the cure, because this is what Apollo and Artemis did. Apollo made diseases and struck people down with it, and then he also offered a cure. Artemis did the same thing, but she was more focused on animals, girls, and women. Disease and cure with their needles. Now, meanwhile, the pharmaceutical industrial complex continues to pump out more smack the nations. $5 billion in development. I'm sure Arcturus is going to get some of this money because they're working on that very thing. They're calling this program to spend all this money Project Next Gene, or Next Gen, or is it really Next Gene? Messing with the genes. Hacking Gene Hackman. Wow. So this is what's on the horizon. So I wanted to go over Arcturus and to help you guys understand that all this stuff is biblical. It's all biblical. And they know exactly what they're doing. And they think most people are too stupid to figure it out. And this is why we have to break this down so that you're aware of what's happening. Let me check in with you guys. We'll keep going with this. Sorry for the buffering earlier. That was weird, huh? Looks like it's okay now. Now let's get into some energy news before we end the show here. Things are starting to get weird with energy. Ready for this? Because now, guess what your tax dollars are going to pay for next? Atmospheric CO2 scrubbers. Remember we told you this? Remember we said, hey, one day they're going to outlaw refried beans, or they're going to hook up some kind of contraption to your backside to collect your methane gas, or they're going to require toilets to have some kind of, thing on the top of the vent to collect the gases. I mean, this is crazy, you guys. This is absolutely insane. This out of USA Today. Atmospheric CO2 scrubbers. Now I'm starting to wonder if all that programming from those space exploration movies, where they had to quickly figure out how to fix the CO2 scrubbers or they would suffocate in this spacecraft that was billions of miles away from the Earth. Wow. It's happening, you guys. Get ready to hear a lot about climate change fighting carbon capture. It's carbon capture now. You know, the serpent is consumed with people's backsides, isn't he? And animals. This is what the serpent does. In the coming months, as private businesses and nonprofits race to qualify for tens of billions of dollars in new federal tax credits and funding, the modern world's release of carbon dioxide by burning fossil fuels is causing the planet's climate to warm. Blah, 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 blah. New technology offers a possibility of not just reducing carbon emissions, but rolling them back by vacuuming CO2 out of the air. Can you imagine how much this is going to cost? They'll make these multi-million-dollar planes that fly through the air, and they claim with a big mouth on the front of it. Looks like one of those giant sharks you see swimming in the ocean, vacuuming up CO2 out of the air. And people will believe this crap. Federal government has invested heavily in this technology, including funding for new national four new national centers to develop it. It's nothing less than saving our planet. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I know this isn't funny, but it kind of is, isn't it? Ceramic filters to capture CO2. Let's see what they're going to hook them up to. An airplane, probably. Unbelievable. CO2 scrubbers for the atmosphere. Like we're in a giant spaceship or something. Oh, boy. Carbon capture. I can't even read this anymore. Okay, so look at this, you guys. The fungal apocalypse is upon us now. I have no idea why. You know, you would think that after we'd been talking about this and said it was going to happen a year ago and it's happening now, you would think there would be millions of people coming to this channel, wouldn't you? But this is how artificial intelligence works. It hides the most relevant information. When people say something is going to happen and actually happens, and not just once, but many, many times, through the predictive programming that they were starting to seed into our consciousness going back several years and several TV shows, we were saying, I think this is going to happen. And here we are, the fungal outbreak in Michigan. 100 paper mill employees could be infected. Blastomycosis, another fungus found in most soil and decaying wood. 100 people have contracted this out in an outbreak. And I told you guys this would be the new pandemic. It would be a mold and fungus pandemic. And it's happening. This was in Michigan. Blastomycosis is an infection caused by a fungus called Blastomyces. Per the Centers of Disease Control, as of April 10th, there were 19 confirmed cases, 74 probable cases in this paper mill. Health agencies still working to identify the source of the exposure. The fungus thrives in most moist soil and decomposing wood and leaves. Now, these funguses and molds have been around forever, haven't they? What's changed? It isn't them that's probably changed. It's probably people's immune systems that's changed. Shattered because of something some people took. Maybe it's changed our genome. And even people that didn't take something are affected by it. I don't know the answers to that. But something is weird is going on. There's a phenomenon here. You never heard about this stuff. Now, if any of you know about this paper mill in Billerud, Michigan, Billerud Paper Mill in Michigan, a Swedish pulp and paper manufacturer, please let us know. Now, check in with you guys one last time, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to cover tomorrow. Now, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to show it to you, and that's when you'll believe it. This is Gargamel standing on the shoulder of Apollo in the movie Smurfs 2. Now, why is Gargamel standing on the shoulder of Apollo? Here's Apollo in Paris. Well, Gargamel goes to Paris and he uses the needle, which is the Eiffel Tower, to open up a portal. But then, here's the image right here. Gargamel standing on top of the Eiffel Tower, opening up a portal, standing on top of the needle. Then this portal closes, and at the end of the movie, he goes to Apollo and tries to open another portal. This was in the movie Smurfs 2. We're going to break that down tomorrow. Show you all the symbolism of how they're trying to turn us all blue, like Smurfs. That's what they're trying to do by opening up a portal with a needle. It's right in our faces, you guys, if you have eyes to see it. And we're going to talk about the Gemini spirits in that particular movie. As Smurfette, which is Stormy. Stormy Daniels is Smurfette. There's an actual Smurfette named Stormy Smurfette. She meets her arch nemesis called Vexy, which is the dark side version of Smurfette. She's the girl in the mirror. And then they open this portal with the needle. It's unbelievable. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it's all happening. And Gargamel is trying to turn everybody blue. There's an acrinodrome component to it because they have to drink this blue stuff to stay alive. So it's basically cannibalism, and they have to harvest Smurfs to do it. These are our children's movies now, programming us for this future of just disgustingness is the best way I could put it. So, wow, right? Okay, let's go back into the chat. Maybe we can kind of finish up our discussion, our open mic discussion here. They really didn't like that, did they? We started opening up the open mic. That's when we started getting the buffering. But I want to give you guys one more chance to have an open discussion here. Oh, a lot of your Wi-Fi's are going out. It's like we're under attack or something. Yes, Sheldon, they are preparing for the purple rain. Put up a Baphomet up in England, half woman, half man. Blue bloods. Yes. Copper blue bloods. Uh-oh. Rachel says we own that movie. Yeah, might want to take a look at that again, Rachel. It's pretty crazy. I just watched the whole thing yesterday. It was very difficult to get through because it's just so lame. You know, the kids' movies are the hardest for me to get through. I could not get through Harry Potter. I know many of you asked me to try to decode it. I just can't. I just can't. But, yeah. But I had to get through the Smurfs. Why? Because, remember, the original name of Smurf was Strump. Remember that? And Doogie Howser, who plays the father in the series, was born one day after Shrump. So none of this is by accident. And Shrump Jr. calls his children Shrumps, or Smurfs, sorry. And the synchronicities just go on and on and on. So we have to break the spell. Of course, this is biblical. Aaron and Moses had to break the spell. Well, they didn't do it. The Most High was working through them, right? To break the spell with the Pharaoh and the court and Janus and Jambres, the Egyptian magicians who were battling against God. So there was battle going on. You know, Moses wielded a staff. God worked through that to do miracles, apart the Red Sea. The miracles today are different. I feel like these are spiritual miracles or informational miracles, seeing things that no one else is seeing, seeing the connection. So we have to battle the magic of the Pharaoh with the inspiration of the Most High to nullify their sorcery, to nullify their spell casting, because they are casting a spell over many, many people, aren't they? Yes, they are. So, great questions, you guys. All right, check into the book Destruction Library, where they are destroying them in Mississippi. Oh, I heard a lot about Mississippi. You guys are having a mold apocalypse down there. It's growing on everything. Why isn't that in the mainstream news? Anthony, can you confirm that? That there's something different going on in Mississippi with mold and fungus? Is that what you're experiencing? right. Thanks, Guy Richard. Thanks, Christina, Elizabeth, Emma Mash, Joy. Yes, the cobra heads. That's what the Egyptians were. They had cobras on their heads. Snakes. Yes, Shrimp loves Apollo. All right. All right. San Jose Police Union, cheap selling fentanyl on the job. All right, guys. Got to get on my painting gear. And I got some, what are they called? Crawfish traps. I found a channel on YouTube that says you can trap snakes with crawfish traps. That's a tongue twister. And at first I got sticky traps, but, and you can get a snake off of a sticky trap with olive oil, but I didn't want to go through all that because I'm kind of like a rookie when it comes to snakes in Arkansas. So I don't want to get bit. I don't want to kill the snake. So if you get a crawdad trap, this guy had stuck them all around the house. I guess these snakes go along the edges of things. So along the edges of the house, and you don't even have to bait the trap. You just stick it down there and they crawl into it and they get stuck. Because what I need to do is turn the tide over here. Okay, like I don't mind snakes, rat snakes, garter snakes. Those are good snakes because they eat rats, right? And you always want to keep the rats down. But for some reason, I live in Copperheadville. And these copperheads are like everywhere. They're like starting to come out. And they're beautiful snakes. Man, have you ever seen a copperhead? It is a beautiful snake. I never thought I would say a snake is beautiful, but the markings on them they're otherworldly. But if you get bit by a copperhead, they're very poisonous. And they can really hurt you, especially if you're allergic to them. And you can't see them on the ground. They could literally be right there in front of you, and you cannot see them because they blend in to the leaf litter and all that. And people are telling me, well, you got to get rid of your leaf litter because this is where all these snakes hunt the mice, because the mice live in the leaf litter. So I went and tried to abate some leaf litter yesterday, and I started scratching away the leaves. And there's a lot of them out here. They seem to never go away. And underneath were all these acorns. And I was like, oh, this is what the rats are eating. So the rats eat the acorns. And then the snakes go and hunt the rats. And if you're in an area where the copperheads have taken over, then you have to turn the tide by relocating, tongue-in-cheek, the copperheads. And then what happens is the other snakes are allowed to take in over those areas and keep your rat population down, but then you're not having to worry about getting bitten by a copperhead. Does that make sense? So I'm learning a lot out here. There is a balance of nature. I've learned little things that are kind of fascinating to me. For instance, the fact that paper wasps only choose a certain side of a building. I was like, wow, why is that? Why do paper wasps only choose a certain side of a building? And it probably has something to do with the sun and the way that works. But they're all looking for their nests right now. So it's been an ongoing battle, but a battle in which I'm learning something about all of this and reconnecting with nature. Reconnecting with the original plan that God had for us since the garden. Existing in nature. And this is where you see God, in the wilderness. This is where you find him. This is where you hear his still small voice. Right? I mean, even today's show, I mean, you're going to think this is silly, but so I'm to the paint part of this inside of this house here, and the guy that did the mud and tape did such a great job that we don't even have to texture the walls. So this is why I'm able to help today. But let's see who can guess what brand of paint that my contractor recommended that we get. All right, let's see who gets it. What brand of paint do you think I ended up getting? Links right into today's show, by the way. Wasps like the east side of a building. Yes, you are correct, Buckeye Jim. And there's like a million of them. They won't go to the other side. Marcy has some on the west side of her house. The reason why I know it's the east is because when I wake up in the morning, the sun comes up through the window, and this is the same side, the east, where the wasps all like to congregate on this side of the house. So one of you got the name of the paint. It's Bear, of course. Arcturus. So weird. But these are the little things you begin to hear. These are the synchronicities that begin to be put together in your mind as inspirations of the Holy Spirit that tell you you're on the right track in your walk. And if you just think about these things, oh man, it is amazing. It is amazing. So, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with the Smurfs sequel, in which Gargamel climbs a giant hypodermic needle to open a portal to heaven so he can harvest a Crenodrome blue Smurf liquid. Unbelievable. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and be safe.